U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un are now in Hanoi, Vietnam for their second meeting. This comes as nuclear talks between the two countries hit highs and lows over the past year. CNN international correspondent Alexandra Field gives us more details live from Vietnam. Alex, good morning. Can you take us through exactly what is going to happen over the next couple of days in Hanoi?
Maria, good morning to you. This is, of course, round two. The whole world watched round one, which happened in Singapore some 8 months ago. That was the historic moment when a sitting U.S. president came face to face with a North Korean dictator for the first time. 8 months have passed. Now the two leaders are ready to meet again. We know that they will have some private time to talk one-on-one. That's scheduled to happen later today. They'll meet for about 20 minutes, and then they'll go on to a small dinner that will last about an hour and a half. All of this before the official meetings take place tomorrow right here in Hanoi. The question, of course, is what comes out of this summit. We know that it is a propaganda win for Kim Jong Un. Of course, every time he's able to come face to face with an American president. For President Trump, the stakes could be higher among his critics at home who are insisting that something material must come from this summit. You'll remember, if you think back to Singapore, what resulted from that was really a vaguely worded agreement to work toward denuclearization. That task was given to working level groups who've had the difficult job of figuring out how to go about that. We know that North Korea has insisted from the start that they want a step-by-step process, meaning they don't want to make concessions until the United States does. What kind of concessions are we talking about, and what could the leaders announce? It's going to be important for Trump's critics at home to see that he is making progress and that you're actually seeing concrete steps toward denuclearization. He has lowered the bar in terms of expectations for this summit by saying that really there is no rush and that the important thing is that North Korea is no longer conducting nuclear tests or testing its missiles. That, of course, does not mean that North Korea has made steps towards denuclearizing. We know that they continue to develop their program, that according to U.S. intelligence sources, who also believe that North Korea may never be willing to give up all its weapons at once, Ria. So difficult issues that have been thorny issues keeping the two sides apart for the last 8 months. The two leaders now coming together to see if they can hash some of this out over the table.
Well, you're over there. You've got your ear on the ground. Realistically speaking, how possible is it for something significant to come out of this second summit?
Hopes are going to be high going into this. If you're going to have a second summit, you need to be able to justify it. So certainly, the parlor game is to guess what kind of statement could come out of this. There have been suggestions that the two sides could declare an end to the Korean War. That's something that's of huge importance to North Korea. There have also been suggestions that they could set up a liaison office, a liaison exchange. That could signify progress. Of course, everyone wants to see a roadmap toward denuclearization. It's just not clear what exactly will come out of this. Yet we know that these are difficult issues that both sides have to continue to try to work through. But certainly President Trump is going to want to say that he has walked away from this summit with some tangible progress. There has so far been no tangible progress toward complete denuclearization. So certainly the administration is going to want to show that it is proceeding. As for Kim Jong Un, as I mentioned before, yes, it's a win for him every time he gets to sit down with President Trump. He certainly wants to see a declaration ending the war. He also wants to see sanctions begin to be eased. There are a lot of ways that the U.S. and North Korea could approach the next steps here. The U.S. certainly looking to get inspectors inside North Korea. That's one area where you might see some compromise possible, especially when it comes to North Korea's main nuclear complex. That's something that's been talked about before, but it's just not clear yet which steps each side is willing to take in order to show the world that this is going somewhere. Rhea?
Alexandra, another issue for President Trump, of course, are all his domestic woes. You have the Mueller investigation report coming out very soon. You have Michael Cohen testifying on Capitol Hill. You even have a former staffer accusing him of kissing her without her permission. How are all of these factors going to weigh in on the president while he's working on the other side of the world?
Sure, a host of domestic concerns are, of course, going to be very much on top of the president's mind. And really, if you think about the timing of all of this, what's happening here and what's happening in the United States, essentially viewers of CNN U.S. will be seeing basically a split screen of Michael Cohen, the president's former fixer, at the same time that the president is here in Hanoi on this very important visit with Kim Jong Un. So, yes, we know that the White House will be monitoring it closely. You can certainly expect that President Trump, while he's focused on what's going on here, will want to be putting out the best possible message from the summit here. You know that he'll be closely watching what's going on in the United States. We can probably assume that he'll take to Twitter or that he'll want to. We'll see if his aides intervene and stop him from tweeting about what's going on at home while he is focusing on the major issue of denuclearization out here, Rhea.
All right, thank you so much. That's CNN international correspondent Alexandra Field reporting live from Vietnam.